Here we are, Lantern Pike. Absolutely beautiful. You've got a full 360 of the Peak District there. What a viewpoint. Oh, did you see that? Oh, you. Scal, my fellow Vikings. Today we're off from Hayfield in the High Peak on the western edge of the Peak District, and we're heading off along the Sett Valley Trail about 9 miles up over onto Lantern Pike and back into Hayfield. So here we are in the main part of Hayfield, and we're just going to head off along the Sett Valley Trail. So Hayfield sits between sort of Chapel-on-the-Frith and Glossop. Been here a long time, since Roman times. It used to be a stopover for people travelling from Edale and that side of the peak through to Glossop and on to Manchester. It was involved in paper mills, so a lot of the mills through this valley were to do with paper, and I think they call it calico, which is a type of printing. So yeah, lovely little village. There's a really nice restaurant here. Trying to think what it's called now. I'll find out, but I've been a few times. But it's a bit of a grim day today. It's forecast 50-mile-an-hour winds. It's already starting to rain quite a bit. So I've not brought my camera, I've not bought my drone, so it might be a bit of a boring walk in some ways, but hopefully not. Well, we're headed off here. This is along the old railway line. This was a branch line that ran from Hayfield to New Mills. It was also extended to Kinder Reservoir when they built that to allow them to ship men and materials, and it was shut in 1970. Yeah, it's very popular with walkers, horse riders, cyclists, runners, a lot of people here. I'm hoping it'll die off a little bit when I get down to New Mills. But yeah, bleak day today, 50 mile an hour. It's not cold, it's just going to be wet and windy. So it should be interesting when we climb up Lantern Pike, which I think is over that way. But the car park was pretty empty. I just paid for my ticket, and then someone bloody offered me their ticket for free. Hey up, some llamas over here. Llama. Not phase all that thing, does it? Yeah, this is also part of the Pennine Bridleway. So there's a couple of horses just coming up behind us. So I think that goes all over around South Head, doesn't it? And down the bottom of Mount Famine and that, if I remember rightly, which are behind us. So the River Sett starts up by Edale Cross. It has been called River Kinder as well over the years, but the River Kinder is actually a northern tributary of the River Sett, and that starts up above Kinder Reservoir on the downfall, that side of things. But yeah, it's the River Sett, runs down to New Mills where it meets the Goyt. This is actually a reservoir, so obviously they've used a river set to fill that up, and then the river carries on the other side. We're just coming towards Birch Vale, which is one of the little villages on the way through here, and then we're going to drop into New Mills. So really flat walk actually, so if you're looking for flat walks there and back along here, New Mills is quite a nice place. I put a link up to a website. There's a guy who's done a lot of history on New Mills. It's very comprehensive, shall we say. But there's also the Millennium Walkway in there, that's quite cool, and then there's a Swizzles factory as well that makes all the sweets. This is Birch Vale. He wasn't going to fucking stop, was he? Cunt. Sett Valley Trail. You can follow the broader ways, Lantern Pike that way, but we're going down to follow this all the way to the end. Nice little cafe down there. So I think Birch Vale is just another one of these little like mill towns along the river. It looks like a nice little spot. Nice row of cottages down there. Bit of an industrial estate. We're continuing to follow this, which is the line of the old railway. Little hazel tree there with the catkins on, so that's good. You can see them there. That's the sort of, I can't know if that's a male or a female. I'll put up, it might even be both. But yeah, catkins are out. That's a hazel tree. Ooh. Some lovely old moss covered trees. I do love them, they make some great photos. Some lovely old houses up there. But yeah, love these old railways. They're quite flat. I think this is just a warm up though to the ascent. So I think it's all going to be up to Lantern Pike, so once we get to New Mills from there it's uphill for quite a way. Oh, a robin in that tree there. I'm going to disturb that robin. I don't know why they wear headphones. You know, lovely natural environment, and you want to go and blast music through your ears. I just don't get it myself personally. One, a bit of a safety issue, but two, aren't the sounds of nature better than, well, apart from Motorhead, aren't they better than music sometimes? They make their own music. While we're on about it, Mamtor Winnets Pass was chaos again on the weekend. I just came up Winnets Pass today on the way over to Hayfield, the chapel on the Thrift, or chapel end the Thrift as my sat-nav calls it. And some twat had parked his boy racer car right on the bend in the middle of Winnets Pass, while he took a picture of his plastic girlfriend stood outside pouting like I don't know what. Oh, and toys you stick on windows, you know what I mean? The place stick to it if you press their head against it. Just down here is another little village of Sett. I guess I'll work out what the name is, but I'm guessing Sett is to do with the river. I can't remember what fawn means, but I'll have a bit of a dig into that. Bit of an old cutting there, because you can see that side where they're probably hewn through the rock, and then this side you can see the embankment. So they've cut through it. Whether that was manual or a bit of dynamite, who knows. I think I'll find out the details of when it was opened. In my head I've got like 1850s, but could be wrong. But like I said in my last video, if you do like old railways and that sort of stuff, just look out for a channel called Trekking Exploration. Yeah, it does a lot on old railways, finding the old tunnels and the old buildings and the old routes. Quite interesting stuff if you're a bit of a nerd like me. but starting to quiet down a little bit, but I suspect it'll get busier once we get into new mills. Squirrel there. It's just hiding. See it? Stray's not in this tree. Oh, it's gone back down. It's going to run off over there now. But yeah, grey squirrels. That is a bit of a emotional topic, shall we say, or divisive. I personally used to shoot them and eat them, but they are an invasive species. So if you check a guy out called Terry Abrahams, he's a well-known film producer. He actually follows me, I think, on here. I follow him on Twitter, based on an award-winning film on red squirrels and the decline, and part of that decline is grey squirrels. At one time they used to have a bounty on their head, and yeah, like I say, when I used to be into my field sports, I don't anymore for various reasons that we won't elaborate on. Basically, I used to shoot them. They do eat young chicks and eggs. They carry a pox that red squirrels are quite prone to. So hence red squirrels, there's not many left now. There's a population on the Isle of Wight, and I think it might be Brownsea Island, and there's hot spots in the lakes in Northumberland and Scotland. But yeah, otherwise they're quite scarce, and they're such beautiful creatures. But the Victorians were quite good at that, introducing non-native species for their collections, and then they would then escape and, you know, wreak havoc. That could be a squirrel dray up there, or a magpie nest. But I suspect Kemp's Crossing is an old railway crossing that used to cross over the line, way down to a village or something. A lot of new builds there, so I'm suspecting we're coming onto the edge of new mills now. Doesn't take long till you see one, does it? The Win Hill King the other day, 60 fucking dog shit bags he picked up on Win Hill in one day. I'll go on a rant again if I'm not careful. But you know, if you're going to bag it up and then chuck it in a tree, just don't bag it up, mate. Seriously. So we're just crossing over a road now. I think that might be Thorn Sett down there. Back onto the railway. Wind's starting to pick up a bit now, and that's, you know, at the bottom here. So on the tops there, it's going to be getting a bit breezy. Fucking tramps. Look, gonna chuck the drink down there and all that. Look at it. Anyway, that's that. We can see the River Sett down there. So now past the reservoir, that flows down and meets up with a Goit. A good walk. Put a link up to it in the old video I did over on Axe Edge. So Axe Edge is just outside Buxton, parallel to the Leek Road, the A53. And basically there's 5 rivers come off the top of Axe Edge. You've got the Dove, the Manifold, the Goit, the Derbyshire Wye, and you know what, I'm going to have a brain fart now and try and remember what the other one is. I'll come back to you in a second when I think of it. Oh, bollocks, mate. With these old signs, there's actually an app you can download, and you can track them all and also report them if they're damaged. So I'll put a link to that. I use that now, especially if I see any styles, footpath signs damaged. I think there's a bloke I follow on social media somewhere who's actually gone round them all, and there's over 500. The dog shit bag there. Somehow someone's got one in that tree. Now, not being funny, they don't end up getting blown there, do they? Some arsehole was lobbed that. Fucking lob it down their throat, mate. And there's another one in a tree over there. You can tell we're getting near so-called civilization. I think that's a fucking loose term. Civilized doesn't cut it, does it? All the rubbish in the woods here. Cans and fucking wrappers and people just need to fucking anyway, let's crack on. That's the end of the bridleway. We continue to follow this down into the town now. Look at that beautiful graveyard. If there are such things as beautiful, I'll always find them very serene, and me and my missus always try and find the oldest graves. And I was chatting to a guy online the other day, or commenting with a guy called Trevor Nelthorpe, the author of the Kinderlog, and we were saying, you know, reading gravestones can shed a lot of light onto how life was back in the day, and some of them can be quite heartbreaking when you see at what age people passed and how many from a certain family. But I always find them fascinating places. Some really old graves in there looking at it, but sadly we haven't got time to stop today, so we're going to have to crack on down here into New Mills. You can see a bit of a tower there from a mill down this road here. We're not going to go into the actual town centre. Lovely old building up there. We're sort of going down here to the right, starting to climb out of New Mills. A lovely old iron gate there. Dye House Lane, that'll be because there probably was one down here. And there's the River Sett, which heads off down through there into New Mills. We follow the road down here, do a bit of a dog leg, and then start to head up. Assuming that might be the old Dye House there. Looks like it's been converted into industrial units and housing now. Some cute old cottages here, both for the workers and bosses. Up this little jitty, we would call them, in Derbyshire. I know if you get further north they call them ginnels and ginnels and alleys and God only knows what else, but I'm a Derbyshire lad, so it's a jitty. Again, almost went past it, but the watch reminded me, which is good. So I think this is the one we go down there, Watford Lane. So I think they're francolins, aren't they, or something like that, and geese. But we're following the footpath this way. Things carries on down this lane, heading out to the countryside a bit more now. I think that's Lantern Pike over there, because that's the Sett Valley, which is where we came along past some new houses. So it's over this way. So I think it's over here. Doesn't look much from here, but I think it's gives some quite good views from here. Like I say, there's Cracking Edge, the back of a Chinley churn there. Did a walk up there, cracking spot for a wild camp that. Loads of old workings left, you can still get in one or two of them. There's an old slate quarry, which until the cement industry came along and concrete, that all basically killed that industry off. But a lot of houses around here in Chapel, in Chinley, they'll all have flagstones on the floor that were made from Cracking Edge quarry. It used to churn out some prodigious amounts of slate flagstones. But yeah, we're coming out of New Mills now. The weather looks like it's changing. The wind's picking up, which is always a sign of change, isn't it, when it comes down to weather. And I suspect towards the end of the walk we're going to get quite wet. I don't mind that when it's towards the end of the walk. But anyway, we're going to follow this gorgeous country lane for a bit. You get these occasions where footpaths go through people's backyards. I always find them quite interesting. But we've basically just come through that house. Like a dovecot or bird table there. And then we go into this field here. And continue on our merry way. It says calves in the field here, so if you've got dogs, I'm surprised if we're out at this time of year. It's close to a general sign. Looks like some old mine workings there. But yeah, we follow the footpath along here now. Bit buggy. Well, I bought the scarpers, but we're it's a cool style there, isn't it? Well, our wind's really getting up now. I've got the windshield on, but I don't know how much that will make a difference. But the path we just carry on following through here. I don't think this is a particularly well-worn path. It's very boggy, and the stiles are all a bit dilapidated. We follow the path everyone else has through these brambles. You can imagine in summer this will be a different story. Oh, sparrowhawks probably had something there by the looks of it, probably a pigeon I'd guess. They love hunting these hedgerows, swooping in and out, eating small birds, pigeons alike, and you can always tell. I saw one once do it, and they basically just rip the breast out and leave everything else. Another style, lovely dry stone walls. Oh, combination, new and old, stone onto wood. I think that's yeah, I thought it might be a bit rocky, to say the least. And through that gate over there. Bloody hell. It's one of those where you just sometimes have to go for it. You prevaricate too much, you just end up. Smells shit in there. Cow shit. Did say there was cattle, so they've clearly churned up. Always put the gate back as it was. They'll need a clean again soon, but waterproof, mate. Even when I was cleaning them, I thought they didn't need waterproofing, and the water was just beading off. So I've had these about at least 5 years, maybe 6. The tread's just starting to look a little bit worn now, so I may have to, you can get them resold, or I might look at alternatives. I've always had leather boots, but starting to think maybe try some synthetic ones. I know I love my Moabs, sort of walking shoes, and they're synthetic, very light, waterproof. You know, I really do like them, so I might have to explore some opportunities there. If any of you can recommend boots in modern materials, I mean boots, more for like, you know, where you need a bit of ankle support and whatever, and let me know in the comments below. Please chain the gate. Of course I will. That looks extremely boggy now. Fuck it out. I can just smell animal shit. Whee! Nearly. We'll rechain it like the vast. Ah, you fucking god, did you see that? Ah. If I'd have bore my shoes, mate. I think the path's through this marsh now. I don't think that was particularly shown on the map. Ah, you fucking cunt. That was right up there, mate. Just get that off the boots a bit. But that would have gone over if it weren't for the trousers. Boots are properly broken in. Should have known that after I cleaned them yesterday. Always the way. But like I said in my post yesterday on Facebook, I'll let the mud dry, scrape it off, get the boot buddy out, and bang, they'll be like new again. There we go, onto the road. The wind's really picking up now, so there it is going to be getting quite breezy. Me turn right now, follow this road down and up over to a hall for a little while. Nice little farm there, Carnock Farm. That's just another star we could have come across. Can't remember if they were both marked on the map there. I'll have to have a look. There's a sign behind that tree. I don't know if you can hear it in the trees, but the wind is starting to get up a bit now, and we're in the valley here. It's a south-southwesterly. The prevailing winds in the UK tend to be southwesterlies, so that's going to be in my face when I start heading back down into Hayfield along the top of Lantern Pike. So we're just going to drop down to this gully, and then we go up to, I think it's called Ashipston Hall or something like that. I'll find out what it's called, and then if there's any interesting information about it. Some of these are just 18th century farms and the like, but in other cases there is a bit of history behind them. So there's some big properties out here, mate, isn't there? There's a few bob around these parts. But yeah, look at them gates, mate. That's to keep you out. You know, you look at all these boundaries and you think, oh, these walls are to keep things in. They're not. They're to keep you out, mate. All goes back to the Norman conquest, mate. We should have a right to roam in England. I'm a big sort of avid supporter of that. I'm a member of the Right to Roam group, and maybe I should start to do some campaigning if I get time. I don't really got much time at the moment, but oh, look at that cool sculpture over there, like a couple of hares boxing. That's fantastic. Anyway, distracted again. I'm like that. A day in my head, mate, you'd have lost the plot. It never stops. But yeah, so yeah, I'm a big fan of right to roam, but you know, with some caveats and some pragmatism. You don't go wandering across fields of crops and disturbing animals, but the rest of the time, why shouldn't you be allowed to, you know, walk across this land? They only own it because they fucking stole it in the first place, because they're all French. Anyway, I think we go through that wood over there. I think that's just past the hall. That's Liddy 8 Farm, which is built in 1891. I remember seeing that on the map. Nice little brook here. Probably coming off the tops. Not sure if you can see that in those trees. I don't know how long that's going to last. Looks like an old parachute, silk. But the wind's having a bit of that, mate, isn't it? Shield Tree Wood. There's quite a few interesting little places like that around here. I might look into that. That looks like maybe some reenactment place, or there seems to be a few people who own a little bit of woodland. I noticed that Paul Mesner's just bought a little bit of, or rented a little bit of woodland as well. Quite like the idea of that. Oh yeah, there's all tents on it here. Cool. How cool is that? Shield Wood. Google, here we come. So a little bit of climbing now. What goes down must go back up. We dropped into that little bit of a valley there, so now we've got to work our way back up. That looks like a bit of a widowmaker. These power cables, I bet they lose power quite a lot. Remember when we used to live in Warburg Clough, any time it was windy, our power cables were very similar look, passing through those trees almost. But you know, without fail, a line would come down somewhere and you'd end up without power for a few hours. Of course, there's only a few of you lived out that way. We get them in Castleton occasionally. but to be fair, they're normally fairly quick. We had one the other night and it was back on within an hour. Luckily, being into camping and hiking, I've got a plethora of headlamps. So the missus had one, I had one, we blinded each other. So that's Thorn Sett Brewery and Hop Yard. I've not heard of them. So it looks like in summer they you can have a beer out there. I shall have to make a note of that. The occasional pint in summer is probably not a bad thing. So I think we turn left here in a moment. That's the road back to Hayfield there. We head up the hill and then turn left, cross some woods. Oh, and go around it. Oh. Lovely little holly lined path there. So we just follow this through now along this wall and then over to the right. I think the weather's going to come in soon. Whatever, a lovely little track. There's a road to the hall. It's called Aspenshaw Hall. Just over halfway around now. Nice little style that. Some very early lambs there. That's very early. The danger with that is if they're too early, then they always stand a chance of surviving when the weather kicks in, but there's probably half a dozen lambs there. They have had those early. Only bloody February. It's normally around March, April time, isn't it? Some of them don't look very old at all. I mean, look at the weather's quite mild today, but we always get a cold snap at some point, don't we? Anyway, that's the farming advice, Stu. You're not a farmer. I'd make a good farmer, because I'm bloody untidy. My phone then, on my phone, I watched that I was off course. What they've done is they've closed one of the footpaths off. There's one that runs along there, and they fenced it off, and then they're pushing you down this footpath. Now, it's not a concessionary footpath, that. I shall look into that, because yeah, it's not on, mate. Because I thought it looked like a path along through like a small channel between two walls, but they'd fenced it off and all the signs were saying go this way, go this way. Well, actually that was another footpath over towards that old building over there. So they've clearly decided that this is the only path you're going to take. Don't see why they would do that. I shall investigate, because these paths have been there for hundreds of years, and quite a few landowners think they can just go and reroute them whenever they like. You can, but normally you have to do a notice and get approval. So I know I sound a bit like a moaning old man, but you know, these things are the thin tip of a wedge. That's where that other footpath came through there, and they blocked it off. There we are, my phone just buzzed me. We're taking this path to the right now. Let's see where that takes us. Heading round towards, starting to climb towards Lantern Pike. I think we go through over these fields here. So it's not always spot on GPS, is it? To make a few allowances. Anyway, back on the right path. Got a bit confused with the track and the path. It wasn't signposted, so it's only when you look back that you realise there was a stile in the gateway. So there's not that many signposts around here. We're headed up over there, by the looks of it, towards that gate. Shut the gate. Now that, I'm pretty certain, Cowan Edge. I've got a walk planned along there actually, along an old monk's road. So I'll have to do that because that looks quite nice up there. I reckon you get quite a good viewpoint. And you can walk up along there around here. A bit of a longer walk, but I can see the footpath sign in the distance there. So we'll just crack on along there. Another wonderful Northern Peak District and Northern Counties Footpaths Preservation Society sign. You can go that way over to William Clough and Edale, there Blackshaw and Carr Meadow. So we're going to follow this one to the left here. You can see another footpath sign there. So we'll just keep on keeping on. Yeah, so there's Kinder Scout. Looking over that way to Easdale Cross, the Downfall. This is all Featherbed Top and to the left over there, Snake Pass. I think that's William Clough that's going up over there. Stunning. A bit breezy up there today. We're going to continue to follow this path. It drops down to the left here, I think. And then, yeah, the star looks a bit like it's had better days. There's a case of going over this fence. This is the Pennine Bridleway, I think. So we're going to head up here now. That goes up to Lantern Pike that way. Just chatting to a nice couple there who live in Glossop, and they've just been walking up, chatting about all the idiots who go over to the B29 crash site, and they basically had to escort someone off the other week because they were going around in circles trying to find the crash site, and we're literally 5 minutes from it. The fog came in as it does up there. But yeah, we're going to follow this track up here now. So a bit of climbing, and then we won't be far from our last destination. We've got over 2 miles left now, so we'll crack on up here. Here we are, Lantern Pike. That's the Bridleway. The footpath that comes off to the right here takes us over to the summit, and we should get some cracking views. Over in the background there's Bleak Low. I just saw the top of Manchester as well. Here we are, Lantern Pike, and this shows you where everything else. So South Head, Mount Famine, Chinley Churn, Kraken Edge, Axe Edge and the Goit and Shining Tor, Cat's Tor over there, Bowsign Gate, New Mills is just over here. We came along the valley, New Mills, and we've come back round here. You've got Cobden Edge over there, Church, in the very distance you've got Manchester, Cowan Edge over here, Ludworth Intakes and Worthner Low. Cowan Edge Rocks is just straight in front of us there. Featherbed Moss and Matley Moor. Over there is Black Hill in the distance, and Peak Naze, and you've got Bleak Low, and you've got Mill Hill and the Knot, Sandy Haze, Kinder Downfall, Kinder Scout. You've got Middle Moor here in the foreground. You've got Brown Knoll over there in the distance. There's a grouse just flew out of there, and then we're back to Mount Famine and South Edge behind it. South Head behind it, sorry. And there's the road I came on this morning, and I parked up in Hayfield. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. So you've got a full 360 of a Peak District there. What a viewpoint. It'd be nice up here for a wild camp as well, I suspect. Absolutely stunning. I'm going to find somewhere now to I'm going to find somewhere to grab my lunch and a warm drink, get out of this wind. The wind's picking up. As I said, you can see the downfalls proper 100% going up back over there. In this forecast, you can see the wind speed. Look, they forecast 50-mile-an-hour winds later. It doesn't feel that strong at a minute. I'd put it around 25 maybe, but it's forecast later on to get all quite horrific with heavy rain. But yeah, what a beautiful spot. These look well prepared. Look at this for a spot. I know it's close to the path, but that'd be a lovely camping spot, wouldn't it? Beautiful. You can see Hayfield here. This is where we parked, just down here in the middle. And that's the whole Sett Valley. That's the reservoir we walked along and all the way through there. Stunning. I've just remembered that fifth river that comes out down off Axe Edge. It's the River Dane. There's a good walk called the Dane Valley Way, and you can see Axe Edge over there, that long edge over there. In the front you've got Shining Tor and Cat's Tor, but that long edge in the distance there is Axe Edge. And like I say, that's where the 5 rivers come off. So this time I know them all: the Dove, the Manifold, the Goyt, the Derbyshire Wye and the Dane all come off Axe Edge. All good stuff. I think this is where the path loops around now, and we're heading back down into Hayfield that way. I might as well now just have my lunch. Jesus, have my lunch when I get back to the car. I think I can't really see anywhere down there where we can stop. So the wind's picking up a bit now. You can hear it. I'd probably say maybe 25, possibly 30 mile an hour. It's sort of pushed off your feet a little bit. So God knows what it's like on Kinder. So it's a bit higher up there. Anyway, enough prattling for now. We're going to go down this lovely footpath here. Cool little gate there. They love the stars and the trees here, don't they? Nice little path winding down. Looks like a bit of an old holloway to me. See how it's quite low compared to the sides, so I suspect this is probably a very well trodden path that people used to use to go up to Lantern Pike. Well, I didn't mention Lantern Pike. Why is it called Lantern Pike? Missed that opportunity, didn't I? Basically, back in the days before we had things like the telegraph and phones and all that, if there was an emergency, they used to use beacons or lanterns on the top of hills. So you can imagine, you know, essentially talking the speed of light. If a beacon's lit on one hill, when a person on another hill several miles away, 10 miles away, sees it, that's almost instant. So that was what Lantern Pike, the name originates from, I believe. Owned by the National Trust now. Well, they did look quite a couple of possible wild camping sites up there that might be worth a look. You get some stunning views and a stunning sunrise, I suspect. But yeah, we're onto this track now, and yeah, we turn right now, so my watch is telling me. Back onto this track, back down into the village of Hayfield. Beautiful little, yeah, super duper. That would have been used for the mill, wouldn't it? That looks like an old mill there, possibly. What a gorgeous place to live. Stunning. And we're going to follow this footpath down here onto a road. Now that is definitely the site of an old mill. You can see where they used to run the water off to the side to turn a wheel through there. and find out a bit more about that. Now, there are several mills here. That is the main road up there, over that bridge. But yeah, cool, look at all that brickwork there. And then the wheel would have been sat in there and just churned around. There's not a lot left now. Actually, there's something over here, Calico Mill. Yeah, let's go and find out. So I think it's a printing process, bleaching. They used stuff like sour milk, urine and dung. It was stretched out to dry in tenter fields, which is where the tenter hooks came from. So yeah, water was needed to power the wheels in the steam engine. Transition grey cloth to brightly printed fabric. There's actually a calico trail around the village. That's quite good. So they used to dye it using naturally occurring pigments. So there's like bleaching and dyeing, and they did engraving. Here's some examples of the type of product they used to produce. Lots of wildlife now though in the area. A lot of the waste products are still hidden underneath all this sort of woodland. Thousands of tons of heavy waste like clinker, demolition rubble, solid waste and dyeing and printing was dumped in a Sett Valley. So some slid into the river. You can sometimes spot it on the riverbed apparently. The trouble is that contains significant amounts of metal compounds which are poisonous to plants, so not a lot grows in some areas. So yeah, really interesting. So that's the calico printing process. So a quick look down here. Cool. So yeah, that would have powered the steam engines and the boiler. Brilliant. Little weir up there. Super duper. Right, head back up here onto the road. This is the bus station here as well by the looks of it. Always park through here. Oh, there we are, end of the walk. We're going to get stuck into this bad boy, which is a cheese and pickle topped pork pie, a cornflake tart, and a brew. I put the stats up, that was just under 9 mile, about 1800 odd foot of ascent. A lot of that was at the end, Lantern Pike. So we started out in Hayfield, we then went along the Sett Valley for about 2.5 miles to New Mills. And for New Mills we go back into the countryside, out towards Glossop that way, and then we cut back over onto Lantern Pike and then drop back down to Hayfield. Really nice walk that. Sett Valley is a nice little run in its own right. That'll be a nice little walk along the river. But yeah, really interesting walk, quite a bit of history. But yeah, I really enjoyed that. That's a good walk, 9 miles, about 4 hours or something like that, maybe a bit less, sorry. Not eaten or drunk anything yet. So I'll get stuck into this. If you do like my videos, if you like history, if you like wild camping, and if you like hiking in the Peak District, then give me a like and a subscribe. I always appreciate that. I always love to read the comments and answer back. I've got a few people who put comments up quite regular, so I appreciate them. They're quite witty, some of those remarks. They make me laugh and make me smile. Part of the reason why I do all this. So anyway, I'll catch you next time. I'll probably be out on a hike again at some point. Can't see me doing any camping probably until around end of March, early April probably. So, but we'll see, you never know. See how Mrs. Viking progresses in her recovery. So anyway, Scal, I'm going to get stuck into this, and I'll catch you on the next one.